All right, everyone, I'd like to welcome Deb Cohen. She's with the Front Door Project, and I've been so excited to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Molly. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. So I'm one of your, I was just telling you this, I'm one of your 27, almost 28,000 stalkers on Instagram. So what you do, you go around and take pictures of people's houses, people's front doors, and you have a huge following on social media, and you've gone from Instagram, Facebook, you have other accounts as well.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about the Front Door Project.
Sure. So I started the Front Door Project probably about almost 3 years ago now. It was in the spring of 2014, and I didn't intend to do anything like this. I actually was just wanted to get out and start walking around more, getting a little bit more exercise, and I was bored. And you know, as I was walking, all I was doing was thinking about things, and I thought I need some distraction. So I decided to start taking photos, and just using my iPhone at first. Probably for about the first year I had my account, I used the iPhone and started taking pictures of people's front doors and or their homes, and featuring them on Instagram. I picked up Instagram from my daughter, my teenage daughter.
And teenage daughters are probably the best teachers, right?
Yes, absolutely.
when it comes to social media.
Exactly.
And so you're from West Hartford, but you've really expanded into areas of New England and beyond.
Yes, I've definitely started in West Hartford, which has some great domestic architecture, and the focus really is on the architecture. I know it can probably sound a little bit weird. Why are you taking pictures of people's homes? But it's really all about finding unique architecture or homes with really great curb appeal. Homes that look and are just frankly really pretty or cute, or things that somebody might enjoy looking at. So I branched out from West Hartford, started exploring other Connecticut towns, and then Martha's Vineyard, where we go on vacation in the summer, Newport, we've spent a lot of time there. Any place really that has great architecture, and specifically historic architecture, that's really my focus.
And when you look at these and going through your feed, you don't just say, here's a house, here's a house, here's a house. You really pick up on that architecture. Really, how did you learn about that? Or how do you get the information about these homes?
Right, and I'm definitely not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. Actually, my background, my education is in finance, and that's what I do for a living. I'm an accountant. So this is my creative outlet. So I really have learned so much just from talking to other people, researching online. I have this one great book. It's the Field Guide to American Domestic Architecture. I'm probably getting that a little bit wrong, but it has everything you'd ever want to know about homes in America and the different styles of homes. So that's sort of my Bible. I'll go in there and research things. In terms of local history, if there's a name on a home, obviously in a lot of the historic districts, you have a name, Jebediah from 1763. I can look that up and get some information. So I try to share relevant info on the photo, whether it be history or sometimes a nice quote or even just my own opinion on the house.
And what really has stood out to you? I mean, you have, let's see, I don't have your page up right now. I had it up, but you have hundreds of photos. I mean, what really stands out to you? I mean, you spent the night in Providence, and
I did.
And we're out walking around. I mean, what really stands out to you when you're trying to find one of these?
Well, and I had a great night last night. I stayed at Hotel Providence, which is right in the Arts and Theater District downtown, and it was great because I was able to really walk everywhere I wanted to go this morning. I probably spent about 4 hours. Went to College Hill first because I'd heard about all the historic architecture there. And different things grab me. It might be the colors that are used on the home, architectural details. Sometimes it's sort of the composition that I see, whether it be a tree or a fence or a gate or something that sort of frames the home, where I see a nice photo in my mind and take that. So it's really a variety of things.
Did you ever think this would be something that you would be good at? I mean, you have almost 28,000 followers.
No, I mean, it's really sort of flabbergasted me that so many people follow along, but I've also found a whole community of other folks on Instagram who really love history, they love architecture, or, you know, frankly, they just like to see a pretty house. Or people like to see places that are far away from where they live. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's just been really fun getting to know people and kind of picking up followers like that.
And when you go out, so we have a couple pictures from Providence. This is right downtown.
Yes.
So gorgeous. And you started taking just pictures of doors.
Yes.
And then it expanded from that.
Yes.
And you do a lot of work with homes. But have you ever had anybody come out and talk to you about their home or invite you in their home or any stories like that or yell at you like, get off my yard? Or
yeah, you know, it's interesting. I mean, honestly, for the most part, I don't see anybody ever. I would say sometimes somebody might be out in their yard, and if it's a home that I think is really special, I'll introduce myself and ask if I can take a photograph and tell them. I don't get into the whole story necessarily about the Instagram because it could take a while to explain, but I just might say, oh, I really admired your home, or I love the paint scheme, could I take a picture, or something like that. I've had very rarely somebody, you know, ask me what I'm doing and say, oh, I'd rather you not do that, and I don't want to upset anybody, mm-hmm. and so I absolutely won't share someone's home if they don't want me to. You know, I don't geotag my photos. I'm really not interested in the people.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the architecture. Having said that, I did have a really cool experience this past weekend. I was in Guilford, Connecticut, for an Insta-meet actually, and met probably about 10 of us, met all with architecture and history sort of interests, and we explored the neighborhood together. And we walked by this house, and we all kind of looked at each other and said, that really looks like an old schoolhouse. And right as we were saying it, this gentleman got out of his car, and he said, it is this old schoolhouse. And he told us the whole history of it and how he and his wife had purchased it. And then he went beyond and said, would you like to come inside?
Oh, that's amazing.
It was awesome. It was like such a treat. He had this, you know, the main living area of their home was the old schoolroom. So that was a really unique experience that happened recently.
I find when I go places, one of my favorite things to do is just to walk around and look at what the city looks like, to look at the buildings, to look at the houses. And I think that started when I moved here, just looking at the different houses and seeing when they were built. And so to be able to look at an Instagram page and seeing, oh, I've been to that place, I've noticed that. You were in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I was looking through your page and thought what beautiful architecture there is there. And I was like, oh, I recognize that house. So it's kind of fun to be able to connect.
Yes, people definitely enjoy that. They love if they see something they've seen before, or if you're in their hometown. Like I've had people give a shout out on my page today. Hey, you're in my hometown, you know, in Providence, go here, go there. So they have a lot of fun with that.
Do you ever feel like there's pressure because you do have such a following now to keep up with this? Do you ever feel, because you said this isn't your job now.
Right, this is really just a hobby. I do some fun things now and again, some social media promotion and whatnot for different businesses, but mostly it's a hobby. And occasionally I'll feel a little pressure like, oh, I haven't gotten out lately, I'm running out of photos. But for the most part, I have a nice backlog, or if the weather's really bad or in the wintertime, I can always kind of go and bring out some pictures from the past.
And even though this is a hobby, I mean, it's really translated to more. You've been published, some of your pictures have been published in Yankee Magazine, Town and Country Living. What's that experience been like?
It's just been so fun. It's always a pleasant surprise, you know, and they'll pick up on my Instagram account and they'll do like a digital profile on their website or on their social media, and it's just fun to be recognized for the work that you're doing and to see that other people enjoy it.
Yeah. And you might have something in the works. It looks like you have a little bit more in the works, possibly a book with your photos.
Yes, I was actually contacted late in the fall by a publisher outside of Boston. They're interested in working with me on a book that essentially covers all of New England, different locations all over New England, and featuring my photos along with some of my captions. There'll be a lot of unique content in it, so I'm looking forward to it. The contract isn't 100% finalized, but I'm hoping that'll be done soon, and sometime next year, hopefully see a book published.
Would you ever have thought that you would be a published author?
No, not at all, not at all. In fact, I received the offer and I started thinking through it and I thought, this is a lot of work. It was a little intimidating. I thought, can I do this? And finally, you know, my husband and others said, you got to do it. I mean, for a publisher to come to you and to make you an offer, that's really rare. So I'm really excited about it.
So when it comes to putting something out, will you take the pictures you've already done? Are you working on taking new photos specifically for the book, or is it kind of a combo of both?
It is a combination because the geographic area that they want me to cover is so large. They're fine with me giving them some of the photos that I've taken in the past, but there's quite a few areas that I have not been to before that they would like me to visit. Portsmouth, New Hampshire, as an example, I was there a couple weeks ago, and they want to definitely maintain some of those photos to be unique content for the book.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have a couple specific really memorable pictures that you've taken of houses? Or I saw one of barn that was just absolutely gorgeous. Do you have some really memorable moments that you've captured?
Every once in a while I'll get a photo that I just look at and I think, wow, compared to the rest of my photos, that's special. One in particular that I took, it was probably December, maybe January of this year. I was out in Suffield, Connecticut, which is a fairly rural area in Connecticut. However, they do have a main street, as so many kind of smaller towns do, with old historic homes on it. And I captured this one home, just absolutely stunning. And, you know, the light, everything about it, it just ended up creating a really nice photo.
And what about some places in Providence? Because you have tinkered around, or I should say in all of Rhode Island, because you've tinkered around in Providence, Newport. Have you found any specific places that have really caught your eye?
I love Newport, absolutely. My family spent quite a bit of time in Newport. We vacationed in that area, also on Jamestown Island, which is right next to Newport. So beautiful. So I just have a special place in my heart for Newport and the old colonial architecture that's there, as well as the mansions, obviously. I mean, Newport just runs the whole gamut. It really does, from the smallest, most humble little house to, obviously, a Gilded Age mansion. So love Newport. Bristol, Rhode Island, I think is just fabulous. I want to get back there and do some more photography, especially around 4th of July, because that's sort of what they're known for. Wickford, Rhode Island is really charming, little downtown, and lots of great architecture there.
Tony, you got a shout out. Yes. Tony lives in Wickford.
Oh, yay, fun. And I don't know, so many great places.
And what would you suggest for people for taking pictures? Because you kind of learned some tips and techniques. If people want to get out and take pictures of either their home or are looking to do something, or maybe just have some mindfulness time, that's how you started this. What would you suggest for people?
Yes. I would just say, you know, you don't need a fancy camera. If you have a smartphone, honestly, the camera and the smartphone these days are just fantastic. Just use that. It's easy, it's lightweight, you can stick it in your pocket and just start walking around and start paying attention to things and noticing things. And you can take pictures of anything. And I feel like since I've started doing this, I've really started noticing the details everywhere I go. And just walking around Providence today, for example, and just noticing all the details on the buildings and other things too. I mean, gardens, you know, parks, statues, all kinds of things that are around us every day that are beautiful.
And you do have, you were telling me about your day job. You work at the Mark Twain House and Museum. What's that like?
I do. I started working there just a little bit over a year ago, and I'm the CFO there, so I do their financials, and it's been amazing. It's so unique for me because my background has been in the insurance industry for probably over 20 years. I lost my job a couple years ago now. Corporation went through a downsizing, you know, very common in this day and age, and I decided when I was looking for something new, do I really want to still work at an insurance company? And I said, no, I would like to try something different. And so because of my passion for the historic preservation, historic architecture, when this job popped up on my radar, I couldn't resist applying for it.
Do you think with what you're doing, just by taking pictures and giving exposure, you're helping with historic preservation?
I'd like to think I am. I consider myself an advocate for historic preservation, and one of the honors, I guess, that I got that I most appreciated was the National Trust for Historic Preservation recognized my social media account as one of sort of the top 10 social media accounts that support their advocacy and what they're trying to do.
That's fantastic. And really, you are, I would think so, you are an advocate for these beautiful homes, buildings. I mean, just some of them that stick out, you think, wow, it's incredible, and trying to keep them alive.
Yes.
And noteworthy, and drawing people's interest that may never have thought of looking at a building like in a work of art before.
Absolutely, and I just think, for example, in Providence, I think Providence is doing such a fantastic job of working with their historic architecture and remaking these buildings and turning them into different things than maybe their original purpose. But it just keeps them alive, and I think it really gives people a sense of place, a sense of history, and people like to be surrounded by that.
And it brings back all to that point of how you got started, that mindfulness.
Yes.
Of just taking a deep breath, relaxing, even if it is just looking at your phone at night and looking through pretty pictures.
Yes, definitely. And I tell you, I've created a long list of places I would love to go visit just based on my own sort of traveling through Instagram.
Fantastic. Well, Deb, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and can't wait to see. Do you have any places that are yet to go? You just mentioned that are on the list, the checklist of places you're going.
Well, I certainly have other places in New England I want to go. Planning to get up to Woodstock, Vermont, Portland, Maine, Lenox, Massachusetts. So some of those places. I love Boston. I've been there a ton of times. In terms of outside of New England, as far as doors and architecture, I'd love to get to London, to Ireland, some places overseas, and many places. San Francisco, for example, across the United States.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Now with the Norwegian Air, you can go to London to Ireland.
Yes,
on
exactly. Exactly.
Great.
That's my plan.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, Deb.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. And if you're interested in following her, she has Facebook and, of course, the Instagram page, The Front Door Project. So you can check her out there.
All right.
Deb,
thank you so much, Molly.
Actually, here, let's take a picture, and I can put it on my Instagram.
Awesome.
As well.
All right.
All right, Deb Cohen with the Front Door Project. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you so much. All right.
And enjoy the rest of your trip in Providence and beyond in Rhode Island. Love having you here.
All right.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that was Deb Cohen with the Front Door Project. She has 27.9 thousand followers on Instagram. So if you want to check out all the historical homes, buildings, she has some barns.